So you're breeding reptiles, and sometimes you might actually have to do one of these, and that's the dreaded Reptile Expo. So what I'm going to do in this video is just cover some of the things, or the things that I feel like you need when you're actually vending a Reptile Expo. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Paul with Spheric Reptiles, and I thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, you see we're at the Reptile Expo here. This is the Repticon Grapevine. We just got a table here by ourselves, so we're extremely happy. We normally would vend with chain reaction exotics, but someone dropped on a table and we were able to pick it up. So I'm going to use this opportunity to just cover some of the things that I feel you need if you're vending a Reptile Expo. Now, you don't need everything, but I'm going to start with the basics, right? You will need some things. First, you gotta have animals, right? So as you see on the screen, you have animals, right? And you have to have animals if you're vending a Reptile Expo, if you're selling reptiles. Now you can sell other things, but just starting off, the number one thing I think you need is my buddy, the hand sanitizer right here. And this came from Walmart, which everyone has one close to them, or someplace that you can buy a hand sanitizer. And what this will do is keep parasites and mites from jumping hopefully from another table to your table, right? And I know we got to take protections as well, because we might have some illnesses that we transfer over to the animals, and that's not what we want to do. The second thing that I would suggest that you have is a good cleaner. So this is chlorhexidine solution. This is very concentrated, but I'm just using it to spot clean here. I want to make sure that I kill everything. So I made it a little bit more concentrated, like 4 times the normal amount. The second thing that you need, if you have that, is you got to have paper towels. Now, the paper towels serve for a couple of different purposes. So if these animals poop in their tubs, then you will actually have to clean it out. You don't want poop or shed or anything like that, or urine or urates inside of the enclosures that you have your animals in. That makes sense, right? I mean, who's going to buy a shitty animal, right? The second thing I think you need are bags. So we're choosing to use these cloth bags for the shows instead of the deli cups. In the last video, I discussed using deli cups when you have to use a heat pad or a cryo pack, right? But here we're not doing that. We chose to use these bags that we give to the customers after they purchase a snake. It helps to have a business card. This card serves a couple of purposes. So for us, because we have a social media channel and Morph Market and a website and all this other stuff, it directs them where to go if they have questions. So everybody generally doesn't have a question, but when they do, it's nice to have something to where they can actually go and reach you, right? So we have these, and they're double-sided. I think they're pretty cool. We try to carry the color for our logos all the way throughout. Let's see, what else do we need? So depending on where you are, you will need some heat cables and a thermostat. So we have this being leak thermostat. Of course, you've already seen this kind of thermostat before. It's an on-off thermostat, and then we have this reptile heat cable from Zoomed. They both work great. The one thing that I'm going to tell you is you'd have to tape the thermostat probe to the actual heat tape, just so that you don't cook your animals, right? Because otherwise, if you just plug this up, it'll just go to the maximum temperature, and that's not what you want. Secondly, after you have your displays, so you don't have to use displays, you can choose to display your animals any way you want, but I would suggest getting these chalk markers, and not the thick ones, but the actual thinner ones, because that will allow you to change the prices on your animals. Say if you're trying to capture like a specific sale that you're running, or maybe a Sunday discount, because that's what happens a lot of time at the Reptile Expos. Yeah, I'm trying to go through this stuff as fast as I can, guys. So, and these are all the minor things. So the things that I think that you just need, okay? So if you're selling animals, you need animals. You need something for people to disinfect their hands with. You need something to clean the cages with. What else? I already discussed heat cables, thermostats, bags, and other bags and business cards, right? A receipt book. So if you're not using Square or some other type of device where you can give your customers a receipt, for tax purposes, it's good for you to have a record some kind of way or another. So if you use Square, you can get that off the app or whatever app. You can use Clover and you get the same thing. But if you don't, then it's nice to have something where you can actually have someone sign, just in case they say that you charged the card that they didn't acknowledge, right? Or if they use Zelle or Cash App or Venmo, then you can give them a receipt for their order, and that way they have more buyer confidence in what you're doing, because you have a record and they have a record as they're leaving. Let's step around here. So I have these lights here. You don't necessarily need the lights, but I feel like it adds a little bit more shine to the animals, especially if you're in a darker room. Now, if you're in a well-lit room, then these lights could actually get in the way just to fair balance it. But I like using the lights because it puts a shine on the animals. And just to record the temperatures, I always bring a thermostat, a digital thermostat with me so that I can see if I need to hook up my heat cables or not. Today, it's supposed to be, this is crazy, the middle of November, 85 degrees in Dallas. So I don't think I'll need that unless they crank up the AC. But normally at a reptile show, they're not trying to spend a lot of money on air conditioning, right? Let's see. So if you can step around here, Lynn. So if you're hot natured like me, you grab a fan. So I have this little fan right here. You'll also need some power cords so that you can plug up your electronic devices. I would suggest getting some chairs, right? Because sometimes the chairs that they give you, if you're old like me, you need a high chair, right? Because if you get a lower chair, sit down in it. Okay. So if you need something that'll make a nice fart noise for you when you sit in it. So I like having these chairs because it seems like just going further down and then getting further up, it wears your body out a lot more. So since you'll be getting up and moving around the actual booth, then you need to have some kind of way to where you can get up and down easily. And the very last thing I'm going to show you is a banner. So I think this is the very last thing that you should probably get if you're concerned with vending a show, a banner, because it's just the last little touch. So if you want to vend other shows and you want to stand out, it's something that you can do to actually help yourself stand out. Oh, and I forgot, you need a tablecloth, because what they'll give you is, you can show that table over there. So they will actually end up giving you this table over here, which is just a base table, but it's your responsibility to supply a tablecloth to go on it. So that's why we use the tablecloth over here. I covered a lot of stuff. On the screen, I noted I've been flashing some animals on there and just the B-roll stuff of our animals that we have at the show for this weekend. I hope that this is something that helps you guys. Let me know in your comments, and if you really like this video, like and subscribe. And if nothing else, guys, enjoy the time that you spend with your reptiles and definitely cherish your family while you have them.